State Representative Ford, it's so good to see you here at the DNC. Chicago is indeed in your district, or the west side of Chicago is in your district.
It is, yes.
And this is actually, from what I understand, one of the more economically depressed parts of Chicago. And this is something I really want to talk to you about. You have some very interesting initiatives you're doing. But let's talk a little bit about the convention before we start with that.
That would be great.
So, for starters, what did you make of President Obama's speech last night?
You know, President Obama, he was back. It reminds us what it feels like to have a vibrant president of the United States, one that could communicate to the people, one that understands all of America and the world at large. It just felt good. And I think America felt good having President Obama back on the stage.
Is America really ready for a woman president?
I learned, like many things in life, sometimes we're not ready for what's good for us, but when it happens, we're grateful and we celebrate it. And think about how many people, couples, find out that they're going to have a baby and they say, oh my God, we weren't ready. But then the baby comes and guess what? It's a whole new day and it's a blessing for the whole family.
So what do you think the vice presidential candidate, Waltz, needs to do tonight during his speech?
He has to connect with the independent voters, the voters that's not sure about who they want to vote for in this election. I think that's his role tonight. I think that he could turn the tables for Kamala and set it up for her to be heard when she delivers her message on Thursday, her anniversary, her 10-year anniversary. That's important. I think that when people listen to Governor Walz, I think that he will initiate the opportunity for those people to hear Kamala tomorrow.
So there is an independent presidential candidate, Robert F. Kennedy Jr., kind of getting the sense that he may actually be dropping out and possibly joining the Trump campaign. We don't know for sure. That's just something that I've been hearing. How do you think that would impact things?
Well, it appears that he has a following. But I think if the Harris-Walz campaign does its job, I don't think it's going to matter with Robert Kennedy going to Trump's campaign. If the Democrats do its job and bring over the independents, bring over the real Republicans to the campaign for Kamala Harris, I think America will see its first woman president.
President Obama last night said that it's going to be a tight race. How do you read that?
I think that he understands the swing states. He understands that these swing states are going to be consistent in their choice. And his message to us was, we could change their minds if we do the work. And so I think he sent the message, a strong message, that we can win this race, but it's only if we do the work.
So I want to talk a little bit about some of your personal work and sort of, very interesting approaches. For example, you actually want to name civilian violence. You're asking the DNC, as I understand it, to name it as a national health crisis. Now, explain to me how that works.
Well, when you look at outside of the United Center, you see police all over, a sea of police, whether they're in uniform or not. You see police dogs, you see helicopters flying. The concern that we have right now is security and safety. And that's because America and the world is less civil, and we need more civility in this in the world. And even after the election, regardless to who wins, even if Kamala Harris wins the election, politicians still have to practice civility in order to hear one another, listen to one another, and help America move forward. there's no real progress when people are in chaos.
I mean, your proposal to deal with the civilian violence is a plan of civility. How do you accomplish that? How does that work?
I
Yeah.
mean, adults should be adults. And if adults are adults and act as adults, then we begin to listen to one another and we begin to be more rational in our approaches.
What is the method to help people actually think of each other in a more civil way when many people have come to believe that their fellow Americans are their enemies somehow because of different beliefs, for example?
It's unfortunate, but politics is almost set up to not be as civil as we would like, because you have to do whatever you can to defeat your opponent. And sometimes it causes people to initiate behavior that is not becoming. And so somehow we have to get back to how to practice civics the way it should be practiced, and really talk to the voters the way they should be talked to without fighting in the midst of it all. I mean, I think that when former President Trump was, there was an assassination attempt on him, I think we all took a step back and we all were civil in the political space, because we knew that we needed to tone it down.
You also have a bill out there to try to give, I think, media access to police scanners, if I understand that. Why would that be valuable?
Well, real-time news to the press. So the press is our partner, and it should be seen as a partner with law enforcement. Law enforcement needs to have the press know this real time when there's something going on in the neighborhood.